Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Resident Evil 8. We just finished the not PT or playable teaser section of the game, as I like lovingly call it, the playable section of the game.
Hey man, up until part 9 was the playable teaser. What a demo!
Yeah, that was
Is that what PT actually stands for?
playable teaser.
yeah.
Yes, it does indeed. Yes, it
Huh,
does.
I always thought it was like paranormal
I think
stuff.
I think they
There's a T
did.
in stuff. Don't
I think
judge
they
me.
did just call it that because it could be taken as something with a double meaning, but you know,
Pig tits.
yeah, let's go with that.
Oh,
No,
that's why
it's
you
not.
can't
It's
drink
it's
the
it,
tap
no,
water.
it's not. I'm sorry, I got it wrong. It's Pesitant Teevil.
I like how that one ghoul didn't even get out of the ground before dying, and they do have animations for that.
Well, they do because they do swipe at you as
They
they're coming
do.
out of the
They
ground.
they hack your ankles. Yeah. Do you know what's
Did
really
I
weird
say-
is that the last time I played this, I was playing the Mercenaries version of this area on hard mode, and it's just really weird to see this place empty. Like
They have
it's-
mercenaries in this game too.
They do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's not very good. I don't like it in this game.
It's
I think
fine.
I think it works pretty well, but like half the attraction of the mercenaries in previous games was like multiple different characters with multiple different loadout styles and moveset advantages, and here we just have Ethan. And there's a fairly interesting like cash equipment buying system with the Duke in between sections.
It's an interesting idea. My problem is that it's more a glorified obstacle course than it is mowing down enemies and trying to get high scores.
Well,
There's always going to be is the way it's set up. There's kind of always going to be one best way to handle it.
I will say, actually,
So-
yeah, you say that. The funny thing is that I struggled before I unlocked the hard modes. I struggled getting anything higher than an A every time I kept replaying, and then I discovered the break, like something that just breaks mercenaries in this game completely in half. And if anyone's struggling, do this. Sell everything in your inventory, including health, because you won't need it. Just sell everything, keep the handgun, and complete... No, don't keep the handgun. Sell everything. Just sell everything. Get the automatic handgun that fires, like, really, really quickly, basically like an assault rifle. And then just upgrade everything into it and just keep all of your handgun ammo, and everything dies in less than a second. You can just hold fire and it reloads really quickly. It just sorts out every problem. It's so good. So yeah, if anyone's struggling, do that.
That should have counted.
Yes, that should have counted. But the thing is, because that's the point of the mercenaries mode is that I don't like is because you have no incentive to keep other weapons. The best option is to find one that works and upgrade the hell out of it, and then just sell everything else. So it's
And then
this isn't fun. This is not,
and then grab the upgrades along the way that complement that style. And it's a fairly limited version of Mercenaries mode. You're not gonna beat Mercenaries from 4 and 6. 5 is I can take or leave. It's kind of like 4 again, but Wesker doesn't have the cool palm smash that sends the enemy halfway across the screen. So,
And what about
but Wesker was still
Mercenaries?
like the OP character in that. Like, my God, it was nothing but Weskers in the leaderboards.
Hey, what about Mercenaries 3DS? The best one.
I actually got that like one of the first titles I got.
Game?
Yeah, it's a separate thing. It's actual cartridge. Yeah.
I understand why they thought they could release a Mercenaries spin-off, because like there was a lot to that mode when it appeared in 4, 5, and 6. Quite a lot to mess around with. You could spend hours and hours just redoing the same stages as different characters and trying to outdo yourself.
I think it was just more of an idea to show the power of the 3DS.
That too, yes, but
graphical prowess.
But like, it was a good mode, and I was a bit perplexed that it wasn't in 3 remake.
Oh, it wasn't. Yeah, you're right. I didn't even think about that.
3 remake was absurdly bare for the like they included this whole point system for unlocking all the extras, but then the only way to earn the points was to just play the campaign again. It felt like they should have had more modes, and they meant to have more modes, but they just didn't.
That's why that game's awkward to me, because that's why I feel like they bundled it with that online mode. It's like, it feels like they're selling you two $30 games and one $60 game.
Yeah, I see what you mean there. They could have just cut the online thing and then just put something local multiplayer or Mercenaries in the main game.
It felt like there was supposed to be more in the main Resident Evil 3 remake. Like, they have this file that, like, establishes the setting for the clock tower area from the original game. Explains, like, what the inside of it is all about and stuff, because it was kind of like a mini mansion in the original game. But then the clock tower doesn't feature as a level at all, just as a background object for a boss fight. And it's like, this file is awkwardly there, talking about what the clock tower is, like it's setting up a level, and then the level never comes. And it's like, they planned to have the level, maybe, and didn't get around to it, or maybe cut it for time. And,
yeah, to me it almost feels like it's like, they almost could have made the Resident Evil 3 remake an expansion DLC for 2 remake. But it's just a little too big, a little too in-depth to be that.
I feel like the game is, like, the right length to be its own game, but, like, there are awkward moments where, like, the game's design makes it feel like, yeah, that's where the combination is, by the way. It makes it feel like there was more planned, and they just didn't have time for it. Like, the clock tower is the obvious one, but I also mentioned the point system. The, Resident Evil 3 has the point system for unlocking all of the unlockables, where you do certain things throughout the game, like killing so many enemies. That's the real big one that I'm going to bring up. And various other challenges, and you get points which you spend on the unlockables. Resident Evil 8 does the same thing, but it holds it up better because there's Mercenaries, there's multiple difficulties for a much longer campaign than 3 had, and just a much more full-featured replay value package, whereas 3 just had the one 4 to 5 hour campaign, and like,
well, you'd only have, like, after your first playthrough on 3 remake, you'd only have just enough points to get a couple of maybe like 1 or 2 unlimited ammo guns, and like that, and there wouldn't be anything that amazing because you just didn't have the points to spend, and then you'd have to play the game again in order to get something a little bit better, and then replay the game again in order to get start getting your rocket launchers and your magnums and stuff. So yeah, I see what you mean.
But they also have challenges like kill an absurd amount of enemies in such and such a way, and it's like, that stuff makes sense if you have a mercenary mode. It doesn't make sense if oh, for the love of... Yeah, we all saw the joke coming. Let's go return the slab, or are we not going to do that yet?
Oh wait,
you've got infinite ammo magnum. Of course you're returning the slab now.
That put an end right to that topic there.
The system just doesn't make sense for the game we got, which makes me think that they had intended to include Mercenaries mode and they just didn't, because they were on a deadline and realized, oh, setting all this up within that amount of time, well, maybe we can do it with DLC, but they never did any DLC for 3, so...
Yeah, it's a bit weird in that regard.
I'm surprised they never did.
It seems like...
Because I know $60 was kind of like the biggest point of contention for 3 remakes case because of the lack of content outside of the main campaign, and I thought it'd be rectified with DLC, and they never did.
Yeah, especially considering that Capcom is like, it's pretty obvious that Capcom loves to put DLC. What did that poor RAM ever do to you, huh?
Sorry, it's walking.
We need meat.
What? Oh, okay, anyway.
You played Oregon Trail.
But, sorry, I'm distracted now.
It's time to meet
the
the man in gauze.
Okay,
So, when you're playing the game normally, this boss is absurdly hard.
Oh, I hate it.
Oh my god, it's a fucking bullet
Yeah,
sponge.
do you know what I did? I got my shotgun, I walked forward and then shot him and walked back. And then that's it. That's all I did. I just kept on baiting him and shotgunning him in the face and just waiting until... Because, like, by the time you shot him and then tried to run away, he would just hit you. So it's like, okay, well, what else do I do? It sucks.
Well, I managed to do it on my second attempt, but I did use most of the ammo that I had at that point.
Yep, same here.
What makes it difficult is that apart from just handling him, there are also ghouls that spawn, and they will keep spawning as long as he's active. So you do have to sort of get them out of the way, but then then it's only temporary, so you'll have to worry about them again later. It's like a full-fledged boss fight, only not. Kind of a preview of what you're going to deal with when you fight Urias later on in the Stronghold. But
Oh, is that his name? Oh, no, Hagrid.
Yes, Urias.
Oh, I didn't. Urias. That's a weird name.
Well, it's a real name too, so
Oh, sorry to anyone called Urias out there.
It's kind of an old-timey sounding name, but it is a real name.
Urias Bloodshot.
I forget what his big brother that Chris fights is called. It's something like a lot more complicated. One of the things that kind of bugs me about the Duke, though, is that there's this bug where if you have the DLC items, I don't know if they've patched this out yet, but if you have like the DLC items, then like every time you come back, he'll say there's new items, and it's just the DLC items marked as new again.
They never go away. I've replayed. I'm on my third replay at this point, and I can confirm that it never stops flashing red in the new items. It just never stops.
It's annoying.
It's annoying, yeah.
Because it gets in the way of all the actually good dialogue that the Duke has when you come to see him at his shop. So you never hear any of that. You just hear him telling you he's got new items. So,
all right, off we go to the next area.
Yep.
Did
Probably
anyone
the
else
most
think that
boring
it was
part
a
of the
bug
game,
that
honestly.
it said that this door needed a key with 4 wings on it, and before you get the 4-wing unborn key?
I thought so.
Yeah.
But that was kind of. I thought we were going into like the whole potential Mega Man discussion, where it's like, oh, well, the key already has wings.
So I could choose which way to go, and the answer is no.
Go. It's like no. They mean like a specific set of wings.
So I'm gonna say I'm not a fan of new enemy introductions that actually have you getting owned by the enemy without like a chance to react to it. I would have liked this to just not be a cutscene and to just have
Like
the
you
wolf
see-
come out and let me react to that.
Yeah, or you see it like skulking in the
like
background
the
by the
first
river,
time you
and
see the hunters, I guess.
Yeah, well, the first time you see the hunters in Resident Evil 1, there's a CG cutscene where they stalk you through.
But you don't know what it is until the hand comes on the door handle. I love that scene. And then it's
Yeah,
like and then you still don't know what it is, and then it's in front of your face, and okay, have you got the wrong gun equipped? Well, then you're dead. Okay.
It also does this thing that the game doesn't really capitalize on in the original game, where the hunter actually opens the door behind you. So that alone tells you that it's a smarter enemy than the zombies.
And it
you
never
should
does it again, actually, does it?
It never does it again. Yeah, they probably should have just had the hunters like able to open doors.
Well, my
That would've
favorite
been
thing
cool,
is that it opens the door, and then like Jill or whoever turns around to see what opened the door, and then he just kind of waltzes in. He doesn't like charge at you, just kind of slumps in.
Yeah, sorry, I'm
He
late.
just kind of cat walks in, like, oh hey, what did I miss?
Yeah, well, they set up this agile enemy and then realized that the player character didn't really have the mobility to respond to that. So the only agile thing the hunters actually do is that jumping swipe at you,
Yeah.
which
I remember
instantly-
as a kid, that's where I usually would stop playing the game. I couldn't
Yeah.
get past that kid. I just couldn't get past that kid. No, couldn't get past that lizard. I meant to say. I don't know, but yeah.
First time I played the original Resident Evil 1, that was when I stopped too, because like I thought like the hunter was just unfair, the way it instantly killed you with that jumping swipe. But
They just terrified me. They just terrified me. I hated them.
oh really?
Yeah.
Okay.
No,
I thought they were a bit hokey looking
I'm
myself.
I'm
but-
talking when I was like, I don't know, like
Yeah.
6, 7. Like it's not even with how they looked or anything. It's the very idea of them like, oh, fixed camera angle. Is it gonna jump from this corner? Am I ready for it? It's the anticipation more than anything.
They didn't
Okay,
manage.
have I ever told you the story about me and my friend playing a remake for the first time? Where that actually scared us a bit?
Remake's scary though. I wouldn't blame
I
you
remember,
for
I
that.
remember
No.
the story, but I don't know if
I haven't
Yes,
heard
yeah,
a
I don't know
story
if
about
Kaiser-
Ryan and Remake.
Okay, so my friend and I rented Remake on GameCube back when it came out. That was like 2002, was it?
Renting, yeah.
Yeah, so we got it at his place, and we're playing it late at night, as 12, 13-year-olds are off to do, not listening about going to
absolutely.
bed. So it's storming out. We don't really care. We're in the basement. So we get to the scene where where you see the first zombie turns around and stares at you and stuff.
Yeah.
It gets to that scene. He turns around and stares, does huge lightning strike. The power goes
out.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great.
I remember that.
Do you know what? Okay, it's funny that you say that. One of my favorite parts of Remake is, I'm pretty sure it's after you've been introduced to the zombies and everything, but it's when you head back to the corridor where you met the first zombie, and if you go in slow enough and then move up, like you say, you've come from the dining room and then you end up in that big long corridor, and if you, instead of turning left, turn right, and then if you just go slowly enough and wait there for a bit, if you wait for the lightning to strike, it strikes against the silhouette of a zombie that's just standing at the end of the corridor, and it's the scariest thing because it's just standing there. And it's such a good atmospheric detail. It's so cool.
Remake did really good at that kind of shit.
Yeah, Remake is still, in my opinion, the scariest.
For
game.
classic, yeah, I'd agree with that for classic.
Like classic Remake, I would say is still, because to this day, I still have not had a reaction to sudden zombie appearance than Remake did, and the one I always immediately think of was the one that was inside the closet that you had to push the cupboard out of the way in order to. I think you had to get the music sheet.
Oh yeah, the guy who's just in the closet and you don't even expect him until you finally open the damn thing.
Like there's no noise until the camera shifts.
Yeah.
And in a way, it's kind of cheap because it's not seeing it coming, but fucking my care with that.
And everybody gets got by Crimson Heads on their first go. Everybody does.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, it's time to meet the third of the game's four lords, and by far the lamest.
Is he puking?
I felt so sorry for this dude. I really felt sorry for him.
Right, so this guy's shtick is that he's like the most like failed of the four failed experiments. Like his superpower is that he uncontrollably transforms into a giant fucking fish.
His superpower.
His superpower is that he uncontrollably transforms into this thing. Like Lady D transformed into a giant monster too, but it only became uncontrollable for her when you disrupted her regenerative powers. This guy is just permanently in that kind of state. So
I swear,
faster than a speeding bullet. Sometimes
I swear he ate something before you saw him. I swear he's triggered the transformation to happen. I thought anyway.
Not that I can tell anyway, but
or maybe there's a catalyst.
This is a weird scene because this is kind of the start where it feels weird because Ethan gets weirdly cocky at this point in the game.
Well, yeah.
Well, he should be. He's fucking invincible.
Well, yes, but
and, I mean, look at who he's dealing with.
Ethan got gradually cockier throughout Resident Evil 7 too, so it makes sense that he would. Well, okay. It makes sense. It makes sense that he would return to that state of mind, at like not very far into Resident Evil 8. Now that he's back into the groove after a few years out of it, you know.